The Miseducation of the Negro by Carter Godwin Woodson is a seminal book that examines how African Americans were impacted by the education system in the United States. The book was written in 1933 and is considered a classic of African American literature. Woodson's main argument in The Miseducation of the Negro is that African Americans were not receiving a quality education that was suited to their needs. He argued that the education system was designed to keep African Americans in servitude and the African American community was hindered by the lack of quality education. He argued that, due to the lack of education, African Americans were not able to realize their full potential. Woodson argued that, instead of an education that would prepare African Americans for the world, they were instead taught to accept a subservient role in society. He argued that the education system should be more focused on teaching African Americans to think and to develop a sense of self-reliance. He also argued that the education system should be more focused on teaching African Americans about their own history and culture. To counter this miseducation, Woodson proposed that African American educators and scholars should create their own schools and learning centers. He also argued that African Americans should be taught to celebrate their heritage and to take pride in their accomplishments. Woodson's book was a seminal work in African American literature and helped to spark a movement of social reform in African American education. That's it. Thank you so much for tuning in.